Here we go. Forgot to anoint it. Right. All right. All right. All right. Give everybody the blue argonite, energy. That was cool. It hit me in here. Energy like hit me all in my throat. Thank you. I need that. Well, this is the Chocolate Mountain Show. This is definitely what you call the Final Four edition. Instead of coming on later, I thought it'd come on right when the game ended. And so I am your host. 8 Wind is timeless. I am the holder and the only one that really practices this, but I am the holder of the sacred, infinite spiritual ball game created by the Hero Twins. I am also your galactic daddy-o, welcoming each and every one of the chocolate mountaineers on this galactic patio from Minnesota to the universe. And today we're still doing it in 3D. We're drinking that North Coast Old Rasputin. I'm trying to think of the old word for stout. Imperial Stout. So pop them if you got them. And I'm still smoking on that Yukon Wolf Evolve XL. Smoke them if you want them. What Jamie Foxx said, you better blow that shit out. And look at this amber goodness. Look at this amber goodness. Don't you wish you were me right now? Oh, and I want to show this shit before I get started. You can get this shit on a hoodie. You can get this shit on even a shirt. Here's the thing underneath. I'm gonna order that shirt. This shit is kind of sweet. So I got a little money tonight. Feeling kind of hype. Feeling kind of hype. Got a little money tonight. Got them in there. It's gonna be double. Naturio Queen. What is happening? Jared 405. What's going on? Zuzu. What's going on? Lorenzo's in the house. PJ Allen, my man. The writings and on the wall. Who's going to the national champion? I'm telling you, when I saw that John Wooden, when I saw that, I was like, no, they didn't. No, they didn't. And sure enough, they did. See, no one. See, I'm not just a fan. I'm a basketball historian. I mean, really a basketball historian. I mean, when I was a young person, like even like my daughter's age, 10 years old, I was following sports, tracking, keeping charts, getting these books. That was what I wanted. You know, I don't know if people remember. They probably still sell these. I know my daughter at one time they were still selling them. You get the weekly readers, and I would get the weekly readers from about fourth grade, and it would all just be sports people. It's like I was talking to my mother, and she kind of corrected some of my memories, maybe. But it was like I had strep throat when I was in fifth grade, and I read Connie Hawkins' book five. Those of you that want to see an injustice that was done to a brother in the 60s, get five. The books ain't cheap, though. Kind of hate I lost that book. The books is expensive, but, and that's probably why they're expensive because the story is so horrible the way they violated his civil rights. They snatched him as an 18-year-old, could probably barely read or write. His mama probably could barely read or write, forced her. And even though he was 18, took him from one state without extradition. You know, you can stop them from taking you out of a state. And they took him back to New York and ruined his reputation. And he was never charged with anything. And instead of going to the NBA at 20, 21, didn't go in the NBA until he was 28. But couple notes I made about the first game, which I was in no surprise they lost. But do you know? Check this out. Houston went 1 for 19 off the 3 points. Clark Kellogg said 1 for 20. That ain't what they said at the game. They get at the game. They said he went 1 out of 9. That Houston went 1 out of 19 from the 3 point line, and of course, Villanova went 15 from 15 off the free throw line, which set a record and plus a percentage, the percentage record too. There we go. Get a little closer. I am back. Salute, greetings. Well, thank you for joining me, Liquid Fire. And so, you know, we see this playing out. It was pretty obvious that Villanova was going to win. I was surprised. The coach used to be one of the sharpest dressed coaches in the country, and you notice that he was wearing just like a casual outfit. So I thought that was interesting. But now with basket manipulation, they went 1 out of 19. Um, so when they want to help you, they can help you when they. But this is what it proved. I'm gonna tell you what tonight. What that Villanova game proved. Dudes don't shoot that good. Not all the time. Not with fatigue. And that's been my whole point of why they manipulate shots. Dudes left alone don't shoot that good. And tonight's game proved it. If there ain't some kind of help, dudes don't shoot that good. Chocolate and Imperial Stout. Talking about a double bitter. And that's what people have to understand about basketball. Now, I've never said that dudes can't shoot, but it proves that dudes don't shoot as good as what they try to say. What's happening, conspiracy, my man? That they don't shoot as well as what's predicted and what we see perform. They don't shoot as well, and tonight was proven. So that was just something I wanted to throw out there. Now, the other thing you got to look for, okay, so Coach K got his 101 win tonight. So you've got basically 11. And then the semifinal, if they win that one, that'll be 102, which, 3. And then we'll get 13. The 1 and 3 is 13. The 4 would be for the final 4. So he'd get 104 victories. So if you look at, now, if we just break down that little bit of numbers, gematria, we see is set up. It would be, I would, I would really be surprised they don't win it all. I really would. Now remember what they said. Grant Hill lost his last game. Was it Scotty Graham? Dude who the only thing he ever did in his career was he beat Duke with that shot, manipulated shot. Then that must have been 94. Grant Hill's last game, 94. I think he was a junior. I think he went to the NBA as a junior. And Scotty Graham got cut from the CBA. Hey, Brother Sean. What's happening, Brother Sean? And Brother Sean, this is the greenstone. I had put it in my hat. This thing was buried in one of my hats. One of my bucket hats got a pocket. There we go. That's a good shot of it. And that came, and I ordered this from somewhere. But this is the only piece before what you sent me. This is the only piece I had was this piece. And I ordered this from somewhere, probably from Heaven and Earth. Is that what Simmons' place is called? Yeah, I think I ordered it from them because the big pieces was terribly expensive. But I'm pretty sure this is where I got it from. Don't quite remember. I mean, maybe they'll prove us wrong, but I just don't see it. He's not equal to John Wooden in the most wins. John Wooden had 8 championships. I think John Wooden, Adolph Rupp, I think they're around the top leaders in it. 222. Let's see here. Here we go. And this is a big chunk of greenstone. And Natasha says, wow, he doesn't even give Natasha a say in this one. Greenstone is the stone of life. Well, let's see. It is a piece. Just about everywhere in New Zealand has a piece of greenstone or my move. Bankers, bikers, mystics, carpenters, they all wear it. And just about everywhere it believes its beneficial power of healing and protection. The custom in New Zealand is that one should not purchase greenstone for oneself, at least not the first one, but it should be received as a gift. Greenstone is said to connect you with the land of Aotearoa, or New Zealand, to protect you when you travel and bring you back. Certainly the rich green color of Honima seems to reflect the living green of much of New Zealand's countryside. And it has both have a way of working their magic on you. It is a stone of life. It emanates currents of strong life force energy, just as practitioners of various martial arts endeavor to collect chi, the life force of earth. Or carrying or wearing greenstone allows one to receive a powerful infusion of those same currents. Greenstone is a stone of longevity and can be used in healing to work to implant the vibration of vitality in the program of long life into the body. So as you see why I used to want to carry it all the time, but I guess I'm going to have to gift this piece because it says don't hide. Interesting. So wanted to show that out. That's a great looking shape of greenstone. Oh, I saw a dude. I was like the crystal store I was telling you. This dude had a piece about this big and it's about that thick, and he said he had just left New Zealand and he was hiking. And when he was hiking, he just took it. Now up here, like Wisconsin, you can go out in the fields and just see big pieces of selenite. And if you're in a park, it's illegal to take. Like, did you know if you're in a beach, it's illegal to take the rocks from the beach? So if you find crystals, technically you ain't supposed to take them like that. People take them all the time, but you go to Wisconsin, you go to some of their parks, big pieces of selenite, big pieces of crystal. And you can get arrested for taking that shit. So welcome, brother Sean. Thank you for joining me. Yeah, it's a fun little piece, and as I said, I had it in one of my bucket hats. Got a little pocket, and I had it in there, and I couldn't remember what I did with it. I thought I lost it. You know, the Motivite helps me remember. Like no, but yeah, the Villanova game just and what Lobo always points out is if you start looking at everybody's face, you can start to tell when the doom is in there. And when and it's not that they're beating the game, but you can see where they're pretty much throwing the game. You can kind of tell in the coach's face and you can kind of tell in the player's face. Because again, you right now, you know, these young men are in the center of the sports universe. They're in the center. Like they even like something I saw for the first time. Like right now, we're going through our championships for our high schools are this week, and I had never saw maybe back when LeBron played in high school, but I never saw local children getting to talk to the press after these games. This was the semifinal game, so it's polishing young men. I'll say that it helps polish young men to prepare them to speak to the media. And that's something that even me, I got good at, you know, being interviewed by the press, going on the coach's TV show. And so, but your highlight, this is national stuff. This ain't local stuff. You know, the coach's show and on the local sports program, that's local stuff. But what we're seeing now is you're on national TV. So it's kind of a good training ground for young men to become their own. But again, you know, you can see that the games aren't real. Like some of these teams that have been playing so great, and just like Houston, for a prime example, hitting all them shots and can't hit the shots tonight. Brother Sean says there's big green stones made in handheld shape as weapons, but giving this gift to family members or special moments like holidays, traveling gifts with family, move away. Oh wow, that is deep. That is deep. I gotta look that up. I think I'm gonna get on Pinterest and try to look that up. That is so deep. Um, and again, you don't have to believe in the stones to benefit from them. That's the thing. You don't have to believe in anything. Like I don't believe in the stones. I know what the stones can do. I know their potential. You know, don't believe in them. But it's the practice of using them. Now, if you're not a great practitioner and you can't resonate with them, that's understandable. That's okay. Uh, why do the interview coaches in the middle of the game? That'd be weird. You know what? That's that CNN TBT shit. One thing that we should hate both TB Turner, Turner, and the Turner family, because and this is why we shouldn't respect Charles Barkley, Kenny, or Shaq. And I've said this many times. When I took television production in 40 years ago in my high school and then in college, you know, you have to take communications class and your speeches, you got to give a 5-minute memorized speech and shit. You know, the main thing is to look at the television because as the television, you're talking to the people. Well, Turner did that shit where they ain't got brothers talking to the camera. And now you don't see any brothers on television, sports television, that talk directly like this. All of them look at each other. And that is a mocking, that is a shaming. And I told the story. Magic was kind of like on TBS one time, then he went to ESPN. And ESPN kept focusing the camera on Magic, and Magic was so used to being on TBS that he wasn't even looking in the camera. He's looking like he's on TBS. And I've made shows that like that watch ESPN, watch them shows. They don't look in the camera anymore, and that's a mock. And that is like saying in the old days that nobody would buy advertisements if it was a melanated person having a show. And so it goes into again that old fashioned Jim Crow kind of shit. They don't want melanated people looking at you. That's what that is. They don't want melanated people looking at you into your face, into your eyes. And again, you look up who Ted Turner that owned all that shit. Now they say he got Alzheimer's and his family run it, but that's where that shit come from. And you see it today, especially our people. You'll see like it be melanated people on the panel, and they looking at each other, and then you see the European guest, and he looking straight into the camera, but they looking at each other. That's a mocking. That's degrading. That's degrading us. And that these people, okay, yeah, they get paid, but they get paid to be degraded. That shit ain't no different than somebody fucking giving you a golden shower or shitting on you. It's the same thing. You being degraded. Dope Crystal info. Oh, okay. You're welcome. Thank you. I remember. Yeah. I brought this up many times, and I showed this. Tiger Strong. What's happening? Yeah, PJ. It's demeaning. Now, if you notice the break that they have with Grant Hill looked into the camera. And like even the first game with Jimmy Jackson, they had that little break. They both look in the camera. But these is micro scenes of what, because you notice with Barkley and them, when Clark Kellogg, don't none of them look in the camera but the host. All them look at each other, and that is a mocking. That is saying you can't look at them in their face or they won't watch you. That's where that come from. That's that Ted Turner, that racist shit. So that irks me. That irks me. Of all things, that irks me. And TBS is the one, and the players not standing up to it. But we know. I dropped one of my crystals, knocked it over. Kind of like to lean on the table. Knee feels better. Wrapped it up last night, put some of this medicine. Knee feels better. Didn't walk much, didn't do too much today. Rested. So hopefully get a brace. Didn't really go anywhere at all. I've had everything to cook and stuff. I cooked before the first game. My daughter's like, "Well, I'll eat at 5." Yeah, the food was done by 5. Cooked some fresh green beans up and some ground beef. Pretty simple stuff. But it was done, and of course, beef, pistachios. I ate almost all the pistachios last night. And so, but I'm looking good. I want some money on Duke making the Final Four. Yeah, I still think that the lane is cut for them to, because the Duke, I mean, Carolina better win. They should win, and then it'll be Carolina. They said that right now. Think about it. The finals, you got Miami still in. Miami plays tomorrow. So in the conference final, you had 4 teams, or what is it? 1, 2, 3 teams in the conference final from the ACC. It just shows you the competition of the ACC. But watch how bad St. Pete plays tomorrow. Watch how bad St. Peter's plays tomorrow. Watch how bad they play. Carolina should beat them easily. Carolina has everything to overmatch them. So we'll see. We'll see how they play it out. But there's no way they should beat Carolina. And we'll have the Carolina Duke matchup. And I'm trying to think what knocked me. Oh, Baylor. And I didn't even have Baylor going all the way. Underestimated Carolina, but they had a late seed that didn't play. Oh, okay. Because let me see. Where am I at on this? Because these lists ain't the same. You would think they're the same, but they're not set up the same. Yeah, I had Baylor beating Carolina. Guess I didn't think that one out good enough. I'm gonna have to sit here and add it up how bad and how good I did. I sit here, I'm looking at all these X's I'm putting, all these X's, bunch of X's. See if there's any money left. But if Duke wins, I'm gonna be all right. I'm going to be all right. Actually, Duke making the Final Four, that put me in a little money today too. So feeling kind of good. I only watched the beginning of the Duke game. I watched live stream. Then when I saw the score, I was like, oh, ain't no need for me to watch that game. Yeah, that's why I came on a little early too, because you could see like 10 minutes left. They had the game in hand. They wasn't making any threes. Uh, yeah, they and like what's interesting, Charles said that Arkansas should have played zone. Who played zone tonight? I've been saying, like, why don't teams play more zone? Because you can guard deeper wings when you play zone. They can't run they can't run that top pick and roll on you to try to get free the 3-point shooter. And so the zone, you can spread your wings out to cover those dudes, and you can get the guy in the corner. So I found it interesting. Barkley said that Arkansas should play the zone. Duke was the one that ended up playing zone. So I thought that was, I mean, they try to tell you in so many ways. There's so much information they got to put out there that the zone defense did make a difference. That number 10 for Arkansas cut off all his drives. He did. I don't think he made an attempt after they went zone. I think he threw one up, but I don't think he didn't get any more dribble drives. So that makes no sense. I mean, that cuts all that out. And it ain't like the dudes ain't quick. I mean, that's what you got to consider. You got quick dudes that's playing zone. We ain't got scrubs playing zone. We got quick dudes playing zone, so that can cover. And what do we see Duke play the last 10 minutes? Zone. And look at the effectiveness of what they did. You saw the one shot Arkansas made. You saw it manipulated. The dude made one in the far corner. Trying to think. Yeah, he made that one in the far corner with about 6 minutes left. But other than that, he missed one in the other corner. The time come down the next time, he missed one. So you see when they want to manipulate the shots and make you hot, they can make you hot. And at one point, Duke scored, 16 straight points, and they ain't even shooting any threes. What did they say? Duke made, what did they say at halftime? Duke, at one point, they showed some stat that Duke had made something like 30 points just in the paint. Jude Bohan, about the only coach that plays zone. I mean, his zone is very complex. He just don't play zone. He recruit mugs that play zone. UC versus Duke going to be a hell of a game. Yeah, it will be. It will be. They're gonna make it good. They're gonna make it good because it's highlighting. I mean, see what you have to understand on careers. When you go to the Final Four, that's technically winning the championship. I mean, you really have to look at it like that. Teams that make the Final Four technically all win the championship. You get a banner up there that says whatever regional, regional champ and Final Four. If whatever you place, you still get both banners. You still get both banners. So it's a win for all the teams that make it in. That's like they did Davidson with Steph. They knew that they couldn't win it, but they was highlighting Steph, and like even the coach making the grade 8 from St. Peter's, he's gonna get offered jobs. He's gonna get offered jobs at better school. He's the dude that's in Marquette now. That Shaka dude, he's turned into him because they highlight coaches too like that. They highlight coaches. That Shaka dude went to Texas, bombed down in Texas. Now he got the job at Marquette. And Marquette had a decent season. Not great, but decent. Because none of his recruits, but he went into a pretty good team. So we see, all the politicking going into this. This is going to put a feather in that dude. And that dude, they highlighted the St. Peter's coach. He played with Kobe. That's what PJ or Lorenzo, one of them said. I think it was PJ. They highlighted him. And so you see that it's not just highlighting the players, it's also highlighting these coaches. What's this? St. Peter's. Yeah, their run is rigged. Definitely. The same thing we saw with Loyola a couple years ago. We saw the same thing with Loyola a couple years ago. Same thing, exact same thing. Loyola Marymount. And remember, they brought out that chick. They had that chick that was like 300 years old. You know, she looking like a mummy and shit. They had her on the sideline from Loyola, Chicago Loyola. That chick was old as shit. They got her sitting in the chair. And again, you know, as you say, you get rings for making the Final Four too. You know, people realize that you get Final Four rings too. They gave her one. I don't know if y'all remember that. They showed when she got hers. When the players got theirs, they gave her one too for just making the Final Four. And you get the banner. So, and you know, when they show the coach, they show the coach, your coach's highlights. They mention that kind of stuff. So we've got all these scenarios going on, but I still think the main scenario is the Krzyzewski to end up like John Wooden. And that picture of seeing him and Wooden together, Wooden was about what 1,000 years old. That picture, Wooden was old, the motherfucker. You think Wooden knew who the fuck he was? Wooden had to be like 900 years old, like Methuselah. And that picture, Wooden is old, the motherfucker. You know, he's like all old and shit. You know, you get so old, they be bringing motherfuckers in front of you. You just be like, yeah, okay, good to see you. You know, like who the fuck is that? You 900 years old, you talking to somebody 70, 80 years old. What the fuck could they tell you? What could y'all talk about? Zach picked out St. Peter one on Peacock Day. Yeah, it's that crazy. Well, of course. When you saw that Friday, when you saw his Peacock Day, you was like, no, wait a minute, I never heard of this shit before. And then they apply it to the game. Hey, Adam, what's happening? Look like it might be Grizzlies versus Nets. Grizzlies? What? Grizzlies? I don't know about Grizzlies, man. The Grizzlies. Oh, Memphis versus the Nets. I don't know. I had to think about that. But what's happening, Adam? Grizzlies and Nets. I don't know. When they had that good team before, when Conley Jr. was there and Zebo was there, they didn't let them. Marc Gasol, I think, was still there. They had a pretty decent team. Tony, what's his name? There was a pretty good defender. They had him there. So they had a good team then. Now they didn't have a player as explosive as Morant and explosive as Jackson, but some ways they were a strong team. So I don't know. That's something to think about. Yeah, they was using her like she was the lady, Lady Luck. Oh yeah, definitely a Jesuit school, no doubt. But they won it before. You know, that school won it. As I said before, you know, don't be fooled and think, you know, the Texas Western was really the first brothers to win. The year before was the same thing. When Loyola Chicago won it. I think they won it in 64, 65. They had four brothers and one European player, and they won it. So that's just what's the difference. If you watch the game, they brought a dude off the bench. So at times they had five brothers. And you can tell it's Krzyzewski's last year when he playing five brothers and he ain't really got no European coming off the bench. One dude that played, he didn't play tonight. He played the other night. They bring one taller dude, European player, but that's it. That's it. So you know this was his last year. He's like, shit, I'm bringing these niggas up in here so I can come out with a bang guarantee. Exactly. Never heard of that shit. Tony Allen. Yeah, thank you, Keith. What's that? Yeah, Tony Allen. They had a good team back then. Zebo, you know, Zebo was one at Michigan State. But you know, that's kind of how it is. That's what they do. They take them pictures. Like dude said about Tim Reed said about Jack Benny. He said Jack Benny was in the dressing room and he said Jack Benny was stupefied. He was just like they was putting the makeup on him and shit. This motherfucker didn't move, didn't talk, didn't do shit. He was just sitting there in the wheelchair. They said they wheeled him out in front of Johnny Carson. And when that camera showed red and he knew he was on national TV, that mug perked up and interviewed and was sharp. Another example was Jim Brown. Jim Brown went to a hoop game. It was a couple years ago. He's at a hoop game. Now, this is a football playing nigga, you know, movie star. Well, movie person. I don't know about a star. But anyway. And they put him on the big board. He looking up. And it's like, I don't get that. I do not get that players and people looking up to see when they on the big board that's been in the limelight all their life? Why is it so interesting to be on national TV? I don't get when players be on the bench and they be looking the fuck up when they on the big board. And I'm thinking, now, wait a minute. When you running up and down, you're on the big board the whole time. What's the difference? What's the difference? I don't get that. What is the difference? You even see coaches doing it and shit. You know, they'll look and then they'll catch a glimpse of the board and then they'll look up. Like, you are on TV all the time. What is the difference of this few seconds? But yeah, Jim Brown's old ass, you know, and Jill Jones said Jim Brown tried to get with her when she was 15. That's what Jim Jones said. Jill Jones, excuse me. Jill Jones said he tried to mac on her when she was 15. I'd have loved to hear her tell it, but you know, I go. Motherfuckers, liberals be emotional. I like Memphis when they had Tony Allen, Zebo, and Gasol. Yeah, they had a good team. They had a good team. Mike Conley Jr. when he was younger, you know, when he was younger. Oh, did y'all see Greg Odom is at Ohio State getting his degree in coaching? I applaud that shit. I applaud that shit. But I think, you know, the way they did Patrick Ewing, the way they did Bob McAdoo, give Steve Nash a job, that shit be so disrespectful. And I get it. I get it. It's all about name recognition, name brand. That okay. I do get that. But be shitting on people. You know, people be getting shitting on. There he is. Read my soul. What's happening? I don't never say y'all, you know, the sneakerheads, you guys gotta be subscribed to Read My Soul. He's a sneakerhead like me. He loves shoes. So I should do a show on Gators. I can't wear Gators anymore. Do a show on Gators and shit. Be like, hey, be motherfucker be like, hey, what can I wear Gators at, man? Where I'm gonna wear these Gators at? And Gators ain't got no insoles, you know, it's all a flat shoe. Uh, the better shoes have the wooden bottoms, but it's like, you know, it's nothing there to support you. Yeah, shit, I hurt your ass. uh, Gators. Definitely, definitely. That's Detroit. Pink Gators, my Detroit players. Our family. Yeah, definitely, definitely. I mean, it's a place in Detroit called Mr. Adams. And Mr. Adams got everything Gator, Gator belts, Gator vests, Gator coats. I mean, everything Gator. But Detroit is known because, like, as the groups of Motown started traveling around, they was kind of the first ones that really um, made Gators popular. Like Temptations, Four Tops, all the Motown groups when they would go perform, they would have the outfits, but they would all have Gator shoes. And in Michigan, as a person growing up, you know, that's all I knew. You know, that's really all I knew. Florsham, patent leathers, Gators. I mean, that's what we wore. We saw the, you know, the Max wearing that kind of shit. So, hey, Soap, what's happening? Thank you for joining. Now or later, Gators. Yes, absolutely, absolutely. Oh, any colors, any colors. But yeah, yeah, the ones that any colors, any colors. But that's a Midwest thing. But that's pretty much a you go. It was a time when I was a young man and you went to the club. Everybody had on Gators. I mean, it was like, especially when I was in high school, and really before New Wave hit. Yeah, you go to the club, disco. Disco, prime example. Everybody wore Gators. You know, you wear the Gator belt. I mean, like people think it's something new to wear the Gucci belts and get all that shit, but we was doing that shit with Gators. We would get the Gators and we would get the belts to match, or even the suspenders. You can get the Gators and the suspenders, and all that shit would match. And you know, you just wear the suspenders in the outfit. Kind of look like the lockers, you know, the lockers and shit. You know, with the suspenders looking like rerun, but they'd be Gator suspenders. I mean, all that kind of shit. You know, but like Midwest, and then you know in the wintertime, motherfuckers like would wear the boots up to the door, and you would see where the people would check your coat, you know, and check your boots, and then put your Gators on because you didn't walk in the snow with that salt with the Gators. You know, you get that salt in them Gators, that shit ain't gonna come off. Fuck your Gators up, or galoshes. You know, motherfuckers wear galoshes. uh, I don't know if y'all know what galoshes are. They're like little half of boots that you just slide around dress shoes. And you go to the club and check your coats, motherfuckers be the minks and shit in there, had to have police back there, armed security with all the mink coats sitting there when you check your coat and shit. That's why I laughed. They were showing a BMF motherfuckers is up in the club wearing them hot ass mink. Nah, you check your mink at the door. That's kind of how you did it. You didn't wear that shit. You when you got out your ride and walked to the door, yeah, you'd have your mink on, but not in the club. I don't know where to get that shit from. You check your shit. That's at least that's what most people would do now. I don't know. I guess extra flossing, but it's like when everybody got it, it ain't flossing. You feel that? When everybody got it, nobody has to floss because everybody got it. I think young people don't get that. Young people ain't used to everybody having it and everybody be happy that everybody has it. I'll say if anything's glorified about the dope era, it was like so many people had it that at one point it wasn't a lot of hating because everybody was getting it, so everybody wasn't hating. Uh, if I was older, I would have had all the gators. Oh, you believe I had ostrich and gators, ostrich too, ostrich too. Yep. And matter of fact, you can get now they make the tennis shoe gators or the tennis shoe like boot gators. My last pair of gators I bought here was more of the tennis shoe brand, Devontae, I think they're called, or something like that. Now everyone wants the newest trend, but trends nowadays last seconds. Yeah, that's kind of a point. That's kind of a point. I get that. It's like I am glad that bucket hats came out because I hate fucking up my hats in the summertime. Now you can get spring season hats that's lighter hats, but these hats is motherfucking wool. This is a wool hat. When it's 80 degrees, it ain't fun to wear a wool hat. So it's nice that you can have a light textured bucket hat. What to say? You rock. Yeah. You rock Moranci. Yeah. Natural immunity. Thank you for joining. Yes, definitely. I'm trying to think aren't those the ones that's got the gator on the tongue? Because the last pair of tennis shoes, like gators I bought, it had the gator like is on the tongue. Like when you tie your shoe, there's a gator right there where you tie your shoe. I think it is that brand you mentioned. Uh, Morantes make a gator type sneaker. Yeah, I think that is them where the little gator head is on your tongue, or yeah, on the tongue where the little gator head is. Cause before I started hurting my feet, I had a pair of ostrich and a pair of them tennis shoe gators. I bought my son a red pair. I had a black pair. I bought him a red pair. So it's the pictures of him going to the prom wearing them red ones. The only gators I knew was high school alma mater. That's definitely a Midwest thing. What was the designer shoes of your era? Man, I don't get me guessing about 40 years ago because I can't really remember. It was so many different kind. Um, that part I don't remember. Like that name he mentioned, I do it. I think that was the last pair I had, but it was so many different ones, like even Australian. And then I'll say this too. At Mr. Allen's, you could design. How did they do that? You could how did that? You could design from the pattern. It was patterns you could pick out to make your own gator stuff, or get designers to make your own gator stuff. Almost like the dude who made the Gucci stuff up in DC. He made the Gucci stuff where they put the Gucci pattern on the outside. It was people in Detroit that could do that, and you would get the gator, and they could design the gator fitted for you. You could get a handmade gator outfit. So it's so many different brands. Don't give me the line. Don't even give me the line. I don't remember any of the brand names, but because really, like when now the good thing about Gucci shoes is Gucci's, those lifetime shoes. If they wear out or anything goes wrong, you could always send them back and you could always get them. So Gucci did have a loafer you could get that was Gator at one time, but it seemed like the people liked the slipper version better. You know, they had like that slipper Gucci that's got the initials like right on the shoe. Those, but they had a gator like loafer. It was a gator loafer that people used to wear that was Gucci. And Versace, I think they had a gator shoe too as well. But there was so many different ones. I can't I ain't gonna lie and say I know any that I remember the names. But I remember, you know, if you saying the big names, but them shoes was like $7,000 to $10,000, which people would wear that shit. So it was still them companies too that made them. And really the best was probably Gucci because they had the lifetime warranty. But it was like their slipper, because they had a sweet, it was like a loafer kind. Now the Versace was more of a pointed shoe kind, wasn't quite it was a little different style, the Versace kind. But then, you know, even back then, them shoes was $6,000 $7,000 compared to, you know, normal gators was like 7 to 900 that you would pay. And that's back then. That's in '70s and '80s. You would pay that back then. So now I couldn't imagine what gator if you got Gucci. Hey Nicole B, what's happening? Sorry. So I don't quite remember all the names. Please forgive me. But I remember those two names. But it's so much more. It was so many more companies that made that stuff. But you could get, I mean, the people used to get that shit designer shit, you know, get the gator patterns, get the gator hide, and then have somebody sew that shit for you. The jackets used to turn out so tough. You could get gator pants. That was too much. The gator pants was too much, but you could get gator pants too, but that was too much. But you could get the jacket. Shit, you could get damn near a hide on your back. I mean, the hump. You could get a jacket with the gator hump like on your back. Interesting. And as I said, I looked at a house. Motherfucker had killed all this shit and had that shit stuffed. He had a whole gator like on a wall. Like this, not just the hide, he had the gator stuff. No, maybe he had to hide. Now I think about it. Maybe he just had to hide. But I was like, shit, you could have made something out of that. And you know, like Florida now, Florida is the capital of selling them because they got so many down there, and Python too. Like you can get, you know, shit made out of Python, and there's so many pythons in Florida that it's a kind of a business that you can get shit made out of Python. Ostrich looks sweet too. You'll want cobblers. That's way cooler. With the cobblers, they way cooler. But yeah, you can get all that shit. You know, you go down to Florida, you can get the sweet gator, and it's cheaper. It's cheap. Some of it's cheaper because of um, it's a lot of that shit down there. The python. I mean, it's a bunch of the exotic stuff. I remember seeing Vanity. She was on Johnny Carson or maybe BET. I don't remember, but she had a gorilla, a coat made out of gorilla, and of course now that's illegal. But when she had got it, she had bought it. It was vintage, something old, but she had some gorilla now. Such a gentle, beautiful animal to take its hide for a coat. I think that's a little much, little much. One of my lives, one live stream you said that 79 was the best year for music. 79 was the best year for music. 83 gave you 79 a run for their money. Yeah, I don't know. 79 gonna be hard to beat. It's gonna be hard to beat because 79 music changed. I mean, you look at when King Tim the Third came on, and again, it depends where you live because I know people in Michigan hadn't heard King Tim the Third by the Fatback Band. Because remember, Fatback Band's first hit was "Money, All Money, Got to Get My Hands on Some," and then they came out with King Tim the Third, and maybe I'm mixed up there, not sure, but King Tim the Third comes out, and then Rapper Delight comes out, and then Rapper Delight is followed by Drop the Bomb, but mix in there not just Knee Deep, and then the extended version, you know, with Felipe Win and then Michael Hampton playing a solo. So, I don't know. It's kind of hard to beat. Kind of hard to beat. 93. And then it didn't stop. You went into Curtis Blow, Christmas. I mean, the music just one after another, one after another. And I know a lot of people, if you wasn't on the coast and really wasn't into go-go, Drop the Bomb was a major monster hit. I mean, you hear them drums hitting and them horns hit, and I don't know. Go-go, how do I want to say this? The vibration of go-go is so different than almost every other music that I don't know. It's like you hear them drums start hitting, and it's even different when the 808 hit. That go-go music, when you hear the drum sound, because it's heavy percussion and go-go, and mixed with a little funk, but it hits so hard, and people just don't know how. I mean, just think about it. Not Knee Deep, Rapper's Delight, and then motherfucking Drop the Bomb. I mean, it's just, and then seeing them on campus, that was one of the best homecomings. Oh, I knew the music was better back then. Get it on my 3-year-old favorite song. Oh, like they say, the music you like when you're 14 is the music you like for the rest of your life. But I grew up and love music, and you're talking about macking and being able to talk to women. I mean, we bought all that stuff. Chick might not heard the song, and we using all that stuff. I still use that stuff on people. It's you that I need. It's just the vibration of love music was taken away. I mean, that's one thing you got to say that rap killed. I can't say hip hop killed it, but rap killed it. That's why, the Michael Jackson's music was less, Prince's music was less. Hip hop has dominated everything. Elton John, all the motherfuckers. I mean, it was hard for other music to compete, unless they artificially pumped it up. But but really they tried to kill the vibe of having love music, because again, putting love in your heart just from a song is a hell of a vibration. And you like that's how I start my day. I play 3 or 4 love songs. I'll tell you a song that a lot of people might not even heard. It's the dude I saw, Archie Bell and the Drells. Archie Bell and the Drells, Tighten Up, is the funk song. If you listen to what everything the way it's put together, it is a funk song. And I saw this dude in Greensboro. I saw him with a microphone, and again, his hit was in the '60s. I saw him in probably '81, and he's in this parking lot of a club. He's in the parking lot with a speaker, the music playing, and he's singing "Tighten Up." But still one of my favorite songs. Go-Go is being played on my crib, Virginia, in the house. Oh, I love some go-go, but being at a cabaret and the go-go band, I mean, it's live. That was the difference. Like when we would throw cabarets in Detroit, every now and then we would have some live music, but most times it's cheaper just to hire a DJ. But you had cabarets in DC, it was always a live band, always a live band. And, run, Joe, run, Joe, run, Joe. There's a policeman at the premises, y'all. What is he doing in here? I said, a policeman is on the premises, y'all. What is he doing in here? Oh, I love that kind of music. When you said Rapper's Delight and Drop the Bomb, you got a point. I like 83 because Him to Me, Juicy, Mary Jane Girls, I'm Not Long. I also was born in 83. I'll say this, Juicy was a monster hit for a dude who basically was an instrumental dude. But yeah, Juicy was a monster hit. That was 83 with Juicy. Maybe. Yeah, I knew my first wife by then when Juicy came out. She came in college in 80. She graduated from high school in 81. So maybe Juicy was her second semester there. That was 83. Could it be? Could be. Yeah, but Juicy was Him to Me was nice. I speeded up and changed the frequency from love to death. That's a good point. That is a good point. Definitely did. They don't want that love in your heart. If you're not exposed to love, and you're not even exposed to love in the music, because how often do you hear a love song, on just melanated radio? How often do you see that? You don't, hear that. You don't really necessarily hear it, even unless you got Sirius radio and you turn to one of them channels. but just live radio. Most melanated cities got live radio, and you rarely hear that unless it's the midnight, the midnight music. But other than that, don't really hear it. You just don't hear it. And it again, like you said, it's death music. It's not music to teach you to love, to put love in your heart. I got hip to go when I lived in Virginia. Oh yeah, all up in there around DC. Definitely. Definitely. Gloria, auto tune sucks. You right. Welcome, no Gloria. Welcome. Auto tune does suck because it helps people can't sing. It help people that can't rap. They give talent to people with no talent. Old school music like New Birth and Phyllis Hyman. I got an interview with Phyllis Hyman, which is interesting. But New Birth, how good it is. I just want to tell you, baby, falling in love. I'm falling in love again. How good it is. I just want to tell you. Yeah. That cat, Steve Avery. Steve Avery. He sung Flower. My ex-wife. That was her favorite song. My first wife. She loved Flower. But I loved Falling in Love. It seems like yesterday you and I first saw this way. I was in Pittsburgh, but that shit was out. I was hooping up in Pittsburgh. Yeah, Juicy was 83. That song helped folks my age when Notorious Big. Yeah, they stole the Juicy beat. Yep, sure did. And Toomey making you love the machine. Yeah, it helps people's tools. What do you think about witches and wizards? When are they different from each other? Yeah, it's witches and wizard. A witch is or even now they call it Wiccan. A witch is less, way less. A wizard is something that a wizard will work with wicked. This is what we are controlled by today. We are controlled by master wizards that work under the beast. The wizards work for the beast. Now you got a sorcerer that works out of the source, sorcerer. But wizards are probably the ones that once because they were frozen a long time. These wizards was frozen, and so that's why they're scared of death and hell because hell ain't gonna be hot. It would be cold. They do not want to be frozen again. And so once they thawed out, this is where you get the guns from. This is where you get the cannons first, because again, the Chinese was making cannons too. They don't want to tell you that they was making shit that could fire off. The Great Wall shows you that. Just if you want an example, that's one example that they had shit that they could fire at people. But the European, it was again with the help of the wizards. And what is the book? I talked about this book before. One of the cult books, and it says this book is written by a wizard from Arabia. And so, you're talking about the left-hand path and not getting not good or evil, but definitely part of wicked. And that's the difference is a witch is going to be limited where a practicing wizard is going to have a lot more power and a lot more influence than just a practicing witch. A practicing witch, people might not never know that she's a witch. She's not really trying to benefit greatly. She's not trying to influence as much. A wizard is going to try to influence. That's just part of their nature. They want to influence. Witches don't really try to influence like that. So that's the difference. Wow. Okay, you like Wildflower. Okay, yeah, that's my ex-wife. She loved my first wife. She loved Wildflower. Gloria, there's no shortage of great singers. Oh yeah, no, there's not. It's just singers. We got to push singers. Control oil and you control nations, control food and you control people. Yeah. I heard some shit today. Check this shit out. You guys look on my community page where I show that dude talking about the Nazis and the church. Look that shit up. That shit shows you. They talked about Henry Kissinger did not want to help the motherfucker. This dude is Jewish faith, but he's a different Jewish faith. Than some of them, well, especially Israel, where he did not want to help Israel get TOW missiles. And so when the war in 73, where the Arabia or the Arabs brought all them tanks in that they had bought, and the TOW missiles fucked them tanks up. It was the most destructive war of fucking up tanks was with American made TOW missiles that Henry Kissinger did not want to get them. But if you want the breakdown of how the Bush's Nazis, without having to read that book, you want to break down, this dude breaks down how they owned the bank and how this bank, well, they closed the bank out. Now he left out one thing that he did leave out is the government took over that shit to a point. And I know they got paid. He said they got paid 1.3 million. I found some other research that they got paid 4 million. And that's what really started the Bush dynasty was that money. What did you put now? Hey, Brian, witches have been here and done that. Welcome, Brian. Witches, I mean, yeah. Would you call yourself a sorcerer, a more conscious, positive position? No, I am what I say I am. I'm the holder of the infinite sacred ball game, creation ball game. I'm more that. Yeah, I don't try to put myself any higher than that. That fits me perfectly. Um, I come out of that energy. I guess if anything, I'm also the only time walker, the only practicing time walker for sure. I mean, others hold this information, but they don't practice it like I practice it. I mean, they can say a few facts out of it, but it hasn't led them where it led me. So I guess that's the part two. So I take all that. I take all that. So I don't need that other stuff. This is more than enough to get to every level. I mean, I've used this information to get quantum. Again, I've even picked up using the Tsar stuff. And, no one talks about that or using that at all. So, I mean, it's a book, but no one practices it. No one tries to get into this stuff. It's like Bomber gave this stuff out, but he don't tell people how to use it. And most people would read this stuff, they read all the blood and stuff, and they think that's the only way where you don't need that stuff. It's telling you it's a different way to move through this stuff. So, I tell you what I am. I don't hide it. Kissinger's the devil and human. Yeah, and this motherfucker's still alive. Kissinger's still alive. I'm so far away. Energy vampires are crazy too. Yeah, I mean, definitely energy vampires are too numerous. Too numerous. I mean, it's just energy vampires are just as bad as what we talk about as stupid people. I mean, that's what we really got to call them is what they are, stupid people. I mean, there are a lot of stupid people. There are more stupid people than anything. Since they want to take away the word woke or people coming out of the matrix, there are a lot of stupid people that's still stuck in the matrix that don't know. I mean, they really don't know. Like I said before, my ex-wife got a master's degree in literature and English. And, in Michigan, they still wearing masks. And she just the look on her face, she thinking that shit is natural and normal. And it's like she's no disrespect to my sons if my sons hear it, but she's still stupid. And that's what we have. People that live in the matrix are stupid. And that's you can't look at it any other way. They are stupid people live in the matrix. Stupid people are guided by the matrix. Stupid people serve the beast. They serve the beast. That's why that statement I said the other night, the most dangerous people in the world are stupid people because stupid people unwittingly serve the beast. Which one definition is you help something that's outside of yourself. And that's defined stupid people. They are helping something that they get no benefit from. And that's a stupid person. So he definitely is. I like that 8-win, knowing yourself, truly awesome, showing what we need to do for ourselves. I mean, that's all you have is self. All you have is the moment. That's what people don't realize. Like when they say you're about to die or you get shot or about to get in an accident, and they say your life flashes between your eyes and your life flashes, but what you see and it's sad that people see it in that kind of circumstance. But what people don't understand is the moment is all you have. I mean, really is. The moment is all you have. I mean, I've said the whole thing before. It's like nothing exists unless you see it. That's what science tells you. Nothing exists unless you can physically see it. Now, all you I'm broadcasting out here, but from your perspective, this shit is all that exists to me. And from my perspective, all exists is y'all names. Now I know it's people. I'm seeing names. I've talked to a few of you. So I know you're real people, but just the way this thing is built, the moment is really all you have. And that's why you have to cherish the moment. And I'll give you a perfect example today. My daughter was talking to me. Now my daughter's at the age where she just want to be in the room. That's fine. I went through that same thing. But she came out here and she was talking to me. And at first it was like the sun was in, so I was kind of fucking with the stones and stuff. And then I was like, no, I need to be present. I need to pay attention to her because she came and spent some time with me and she was talking and I got her to talk. And so I was like, shit, I need to be present. And too often than not, we're not present with the ones we love and we care about. So, uh, yep, know thyself. Definitely, definitely, definitely. Now let's say that stupid people, they have been dumbed down. You say they're even stupider. Yeah, I agree. I agree. It's gotten worse. It's gotten worse. So is this death? Are we all dying? Can't be life. Well, I mean, the moment like a birthday celebration is a death celebration, of course. They want to remind you that you're dying. I mean, really, the moment you're born, you start to die. So it's a process from the time you're born. The moment you are born, you start to die. So you got to think of it like that. I mean, that's what it is. The moment you are born, you start to die. So, and that's what the illusion of having the birthday that ain't exist. Like I said, y'all got little children. Don't be fucking circling them, lighting them goddamn candles. That's wizard shit. Really is. You chanting around a child and you're circling them. Do you see that? What? That's negative. That's negative magic. That's negative witchcraft. But that's wizard shit. You stand around them, you circle them, you hold hands, and you chant together. You chant together. And again, happy is makes you sad. Happy, sad go together. But you're celebrating your own demise. So that's why I don't get it. And women be like, it's my birthday month, it's my birthday weekend. And I always call June the June boys, but you're celebrating death. You're agreeing that you're getting older. You're agreeing that you're getting older. And you can't get away from that. You really can't. Because you look in the mirror and you's an old motherfucker like me one day. Hey, Dread, thank you for joining. Join. I think everything reversed here. That's a good point. I mean, it's like, what is the reverse Superman? The reverse Superman and that kind of world. In some way, it is. As I said before, we ain't going up in time. Time started a billion some years ago. We are going down. They make you think that 2,000 years is all the real history when, history can be much older than that. Smoking, big old six. What's happening? And that's some point Brother Brahmer brought up. He brought that up. And that's a good point. We're being dumbed down. I mean, if you really study it all, and that's what the time walking papers opened up South America, excuse me, and South America spirituality. I would have never come across any of that without the time walking papers. And so through that, it made all the science, the science of the Americas really open up. Because it's like, even though I watch Turtle Gang, and now I'm not gonna try to shit on him, but I'm saying even if I watch him, he is backing European science, talking about this out of Africa shit. And it's like, you're trying to prove that these others are wrong, but the bullshit you using is bullshit. I mean, you are buying into what they say is the science. And so you're just fortifying. Okay. Not understanding that, but okay. But you're just buying into and you're pushing their propaganda. That's all. When you try to believe in their science. 9-0, not 0-9. We go down. Oh, of course. Of course. Jimi Hendrix said if a 6 was a 9. But I mean, it took the Americas to show motherfuckers that zero had value. And that's the omen's gift to the world was zero. You try to read some other shit and they try to sneak it in that no, no, no. See that's the fallacy of them and their ship and their traveling. If how did they understand how did they understand zero? Like even looking to astronomy and stuff, astrology, if they had no understanding of zero, because again, when that they pretty much what they taught then, XYZ. This is how you measure space right here. I don't want to get this where you can see it, but XYZ, that's how you measure space. I say from being a coordinate measuring machine, I guess it'd be more like I kind of want to show you. Let me see if I can get it right. Or maybe I can do this finger a little better. That's no hand sign, but that's how you measure space. XYZ is how you measure space. Like you find some space shit and you see they'll have the XYZ. The way you can measure space is like this XYZ. That's why I don't talk about vectors because that was my job to understand how things how drives go. When you run a quarter measure machine, you have to know the drive angle, the vector angle, the speed. You've got to put the speed and everything that this $3,000 to $5,000 head is driving into this part. You have to have the perfect angle. You have to have the drive. You have to have the perfect speed, or this expensive shit is going to crash into a metal part. So you've got to know all that. You've got to understand all that. Uh, Duke, definitely. Hey, CWE, what's happening? Thank you for joining. 13th Final Four in 42 years for Coach K. And as I said before, if Coach K, and thank you for the 13, because if Coach K wins the final game, that'll be his 103rd tournament game. So there's another 13. Zero is infinite. Yeah, zero is infinite, but it has value. Being infinite is still a value. Yep, still has value. Tariq Nasheed with the FBA shit, and now some Aboriginals that talking about being from America but still using the out of Africa theory. Well, that's kind of like I was saying with Turtle Gang. He's still saying that shit. Well, only the Homo sapiens are from, Homo sapiens. Like I said before, and Brother Sanchez, the only other person that I heard say this shit where it really was like this. It's like, wasn't none of that shit. It literally was like one day it was just these dark looking beings that look like amphibians that were everywhere. And we go into the cave and we come out and it's civilization. I mean, it was just like that. It was like one minute we see all these type of beings that was born out the cave just like we were. And then we come out of this cave, this other cave after traveling, and it's fucking civilization. It's animals, it's everything. And it was like one day we just see these human amphibian like looking people. And the next day we seeing everything. We seeing full blown. It was almost like a movie. Like we come out the cave and it was like a movie came on from what we saw before. So all that bullshit about the bones, it ain't nothing like that shit. This shit is nothing like that. I mean, that is just Duke to Final Four. There we go. Oh. Yeah, now that's what I don't get. Foundational, it's like and see, it's the same thing that you got with Carmelo and them jokers. It's the same thing. All them dudes was is Hebrew Israelites. And all these Hebrew Israelites saw that they had it in to disrobe them New York dudes. There was all the Pan-Africans and the Moors. And so you see the foundation or whatever they call it is the same thing. You got all these still out of Africa, Pan-Africanism, but they got to admit it's too much information showing who they slaved, showing who was in America. I mean, I don't care if these people in Boston won't put me in their tribe. They can't take away the names. We've proven who we are. Same with Sapani. Now, Sapani in South Carolina, they was cool with it, but not the ones in North Carolina. Not the ones in North Carolina. If we any melanated, they try to keep that shit away from the tribe. And this is a melanated tribe. So even those people can be foul. But it's the same thing. It's like these people have put so much into Pan Africanism, it's got to stay around. They can't put it out of hand. They've got to find a way. Just like them Carmel and them Israelites. They really Israelites, and they can't get away from it. And they do good research, no doubt, no doubt. I'm not gonna say he's not a good researcher. He puts out some decent stuff. But if you go back to it, and that was my argument for them 3, 4 years ago, maybe long as 5 now, was you dudes love the goat. You dudes love the goat. You are goat lovers. And you practice that shit with Moses with the horns. That's what they practice. And you know, it was like the people came from Inquisition. They was really Jewish faith people hiding under Inquisition, hiding under being Catholics, and then they get discovered. So I agree. 13. Yep, 103rd March Madness game. There you go. Conley. March Madness is a scam. It is. It is. What's happening? It is. It is. I was trying to explain that to my daughter. Lakers plus if they win the chip. I put 2,500 down. Ooh, ooh. The Lakers? Okay. Okay, D. Go ahead with your bad self. I seen a stat that said Miami U had 4 players that were 6 year, 6 year players. Yeah. Yeah, it was a game yesterday. Um, yeah, Florida has Miami has it's a European dude with he had the kind of the long hair on top, not shaved on the sides, but just closer on the sides. And I remember them saying he had been there for 6 years because he had got hurt. But yeah, you're going to see that more and more. That's the thing. As I said, the way you can look at it is what happened after World War II. You had all these dudes that was in college or high school about to go to college and play sport, and they survived World War II. And so what you see is one of them is doing an interview, or they did an interview after he died, but Glenn Davis and maybe Doc Howard, but they won Heisman back to back for Army. And you had them Army teams that had all these dudes that was playing against, all you got all these 30-year-olds playing against 20-year-olds. And so we're going to see more and more of that. As more and more people go in the NBA, they're going to allow that more and more. I mean, look at all the dudes, like the one dude that played for Arkansas tonight, he had the little hairpiece. Did y'all check that one big man out? He had the little hairpiece. He was bald back to here, and he had the little hairpiece here in front. Now, that ain't no young person. Now, some people do get bald earlier, but that ain't just young people. Once you see the fix in sports, it's hard to unsee. Exactly, exactly. When I first saw that in '76 and saw that Bill Walton team get dominated 3 games in a row and then lose 4 straight, it was impossible. It was like that broke the spell. That broke the spell for me. That broke the spell. Or the way my dad used to say it, they ain't gonna let niggas determine all this money. Aboriginals believe in the bones theory. Oh yeah, that bone theory again. Look who discovers the bones. Like dinosaurs, that's the biggest scam of them all. Is fucking dinosaurs, but no one knew about that shit until the 1800s. And it was a business. It was a business from the very beginning to bring people into fucking museums. Some shit that. Now I'll say this, and this is Wes Paneri's work, and you can kind of use your discernment. One thing that's pointed out is the rep and a little bit in Jupiter's Rising shows this, and I guess I haven't mentioned this in a long time. The reptilians got beat. They got beat. The reptilians got beat, and the reptilians, as shown in Jupiter's Rising, the reptilian was subservient to the European. Remember that in Jupiter's Rising, they work for the Europeans. But Wes Paneri tells a beautiful story, and a little bit Sagers, Carl Sagan, he talks a little bit about it too. But apparently and remember the dinosaur TV show, Love the Mommy, that where these were reptilians that were thinking reptilians and had a civilization. Well, that's a little, if you want to get into Wes Paneri's work, he tells how they got defeated. And so it could be a lot of these bones is from when they got defeated. Now, again, use your discernment as you look that up. But I agree. But yeah, they want to use their science. 103rd win or 31st loss. Oh, that's a good point.
SD, that's a real good point. Thank you for bringing it up. You're a big gambler. I'll gamble a little bit. I gamble a little bit. Kindly, Brian, cash out the farm. 2,500. Ooh. Boston Bruins, Duke parlay. Oh, that's nice. Okay, because Boston is in there this year, but the Wild did whoop their ass a couple weeks ago. Um, to win 2,500. Okay, okay, right on, right on. I hope you hit that too. My 7 years on the betting. I've been betting since I was raised around gamblers, so I've been shooting dice since long as I can remember. You get take two big risks. You got to take big risks, yeah, no doubt. That's what hustling was all about, taking risks. Dinosaurs, that theory died some years ago. Yeah, yeah, it's a money making business. So it's not what they're finding something, but it ain't what they trying to tell you. It ain't what they trying to tell you. I always know dinosaurs was all shit. No one trusted what I said. Yeah, it's a business. That's all. They done made movies and shit, made this shit up. That shit is some bullshit. I lost Bruins money line and Duke money line today. No, I hit on Duke. I hit on Duke and I hit on Duke. I won two bets on Duke today. I hit Duke making the Final Four and I hit Duke winning. So I don't do future bets. That's too much. So yeah, I got both. So I got a nice little chunk and I'm gonna let it ride. 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 But shit, I ain't really getting no sleep today. That's why I came on early. I'm gonna try to. Hopefully, I can stay up and listen to Super Slide. But I thought if I didn't come on after the game, I wasn't gonna make it because I've been up since yesterday. So if I seem overly hyped, you understand. Oh, you won. Okay, I never said. Oh, you won. Okay. No, I just shot dice. And I said it before. Michigan, we stick them. Casino gambling too. But gambling joint. Gambling joint. Gambling joints, yeah. Left one gambling joint again. When I would hit, I'd always pull them pistols out. Like if I hit for 5 grand and pockets bulged, and you got all them vultures thinking I'd pull both them 40s out. I'd pull them both out, and I think it was 590 Smith and Wessons, and I pushed both them out because I had the first generation. That's what was one of my carry guns, but I had two of them, and it was the first generation decockers, and I'd cock them. I'd fucking cock them because you could already got them racked, and you can fucking cock them, and then you take the safeties off, and I'd pull the motherfuckers off out. And I'd like make somebody open the door. I was like, what was his name? The Killer. Remember, Chew Young Fat used to be the Killer. He had the 245. I walk out the gambling joint just like that, pointing, coming out the joint, pointing them at everybody as I walk out, pointing them at everybody till I fucking walk to my car. Because you got them. I watched one dude. I was like, I just looked at him and I thought, there ain't no way you getting up out of here with that money. I'm like, you gonna make it to the porch and that's about it. I was thinking to myself, it's best for you to lose a little bit of that, and then motherfuckers might give you a pass. But no, this motherfucker like played a little bit, then he left, and they beat his ass and took his money. Yeah, that wasn't happening to me. I was like the killer. I lost two stacks on Super Bowl 42. It was horrible. Last time I ever bet that much on the bowl. Granted, most of it was my tax money, so it wasn't bad. It's looking back. And welcome, young Weezer. Thank you for joining. I'm not gonna applaud to your message because that ain't worth applauding till you lost all that loot. I know how it is. I know guys. You know, I had a good friend that was brilliant man, and he was a lotto. He gambled on the lotto, and I mean, if you really looked at his life story, he gambled on the lotto like he was a crackhead. Like every penny he had, he bet on Powerball. Every penny. He would scam people and everything just to bet on the lotto. And there was one time where he did win. One time where he did win, but like what he did is they didn't play at this point. Maybe Powerball wasn't played in Minnesota, but it was played in California. His son lived in California, and one time he should have won $24 million in California off the Powerball. And what happened was his son was that was his fuck up money. Like his son wasn't playing his numbers. And, the dad, he took it on the chin, but he didn't realize that was it. He would never get another chance to win it. That was, and for one reason or another, it wasn't his timing. And he didn't know. And if you looked at his life, again, this cat didn't live past 62, 63. But yeah, he was like a crackhead just to play the lotto. Yep. Hey, there he is, Lobo. All you sports fans, definitely subscribe to Brother Lobo. And I give Brother Lobo all the props because he really pointed out, and I did see it over the years, but he really pointed out how you can see when other teams have had to give up. You can see that shit. Like, look at when they have to give up. And so it's like the first half, you don't, even though you have to give up, it don't really hit you as bad as what's been taken away from you. Because it's almost like I always talk about the picture of Sonny Liston and that I lost many years ago. It was him looking over at Ali and when Ali lost. And I have a picture close, but I have not found that picture again since I lost that book, and I haven't found the book again. But the picture says it all. It was like the one thing in the world that made him great, the one thing in the world that made him special was being taken away. It was like the magic was literally and the life was literally being ripped out of his soul, having to give it to Ali, knowing that, it's all fixed and that he had to quit, that he couldn't go out on his shield. He at both times kind of had to quit. And that's the thing that I've never forgotten. And you see that in their faces, especially in the second half when it's not a close game. But you can see the point where the other team, like, yeah, they've got to give up at this point. You see that shit. And that shit is I mean, it's heartbreaking. It really is. To lose when you go deep is heartbreaking, no doubt. We would play South Carolina State in the 3 years I played them, we never beat them. And the last time we played them, we had their asses. We played the shit out of them. And then, even though I personally had a good ass game, I had like 5 catches for like 170 yards. I had one catch when I talk about getting knocked out that I ran about a 60-yard run and I got hit on the 2 or 3. And that's when I got knocked out and I still got to play. So that's why I'm suing the motherfuckers today. Betting 2,000 on a football game probably wasn't the smartest decision. I don't know though. It's the lick. If you won, look at the lick, and that's the lure. Is the lick. The lick you'll get out of it. That's the lure. So I mean, like they say, if you don't take no chance, sometimes you can't move on. So it's chance. That's all. You took a chance on you. You took a chance on hustling because gambling is a hustle. It's a hustle. So that's why the part where Zach fails people is Zach doesn't look at the history that goes into sports. He just looks at the numbers and the story. He doesn't look at really the history of sports and the history of the organizations. I mean, he misses some of that, not being a sports historian and just going on all the numbers. You'll lose some of it if you're not a sports historian. It's some things that you'll miss. So, and by now he's probably heard about my John Wooden thing, so he probably using it by now, and that's okay. But I've been saying that for a couple weeks now. So it's like I'm saying about Harding. I'm wondering if they're gonna let Harding be Oscar Robertson. Giving Harding that number 1, like Oscar Robertson, making him play with a good big man, probably the best big man in the league, like Oscar Robertson. Oscar Robertson, assist leader, points leader, first dude to really have a whole season of real triple doubles, not that artificial shit that Westbrook got. Because what Oscar Robertson did ain't the same thing what Harding did. It ain't the same. That shit was all fake. It was like both teams would box everybody out so he could get the ball. Westbrook could get the ball. That shit wasn't real. That shit was not real compared to what Oscar Robertson did. So that's looking at something that could be. I'm not saying that's guaranteed, but I'm saying I'm looking at the history of basketball and could Harding be the Oscar Robertson to Kareem? I mean, it's very possible if you look at the number as far as their jersey numbers. You see when Batcher called Coach K the GOAT after the game. Yeah, more clues. Yeah, I had turned it by then. I started broadcasting, so I missed that part. But the picture of him and Wooden together, I'm like, now y'all up thinking I'm just talking. I mean, that was to me, wasn't nothing else need to be said. I'm like, there they show you. There they show you. Wooden won when he went out. His last year of 74 with Marcus Johnson and Richard Washington, they did not have a strong team. And they won the final. Matter of fact, I want to say Marquette, even though Al McGuire wasn't there, had a strong team that year. I don't remember who they beat. Maybe did they beat Marquette? And Marquette won it in 75? Might be. That's who they beat. They beat Al McGuire and Marquette. So I missed that part. I was starting to get together. Exactly just like he and Gonzalez going to win the title undefeated because they're a Jesuit school. Yeah, that motherfucker stuck on Jesuit. But that's what they told him to say. It's like, quit saying it's them peoples. Don't say this them people. Alito, what's happening? Thank you for joining us. Yeah, he if you listen to young Zach or Zach a few years ago when I first started fucking with him, back in probably summer of 16, summer of 17, one of them. And yeah, he was talking about them peoples. And now he don't talk about them peoples. He blame it on the Jesuits. So you see where he's at. Ooh, more chocolate. So, and that's again, that's a study of history. That's all. That's a study of history. You can't you can't you can't talk about Jesuits, which is the army, without bringing up the Inquisition. As I said before, Isabella and that group is the only one that really put their foot in their ass. She put her foot up in their ass, and they learned. They took her religion. They learned. They took her religion. I mean, in her putting her foot up in their ass, they saw that they could run things easier. And that's exactly what they did. She forced them to be Catholics, and once they got into being Catholic, they knew that they could fake it. That's what I was saying when under Inquisition even coming to the Americas up in Mexico. It was still Jewish faith people and got caught practicing and still under Inquisition. The most I made betting was the D4 NBA Finals. I had 04, feeling the Pistons would win Game 5. I got the spread and the results. We made 6K. It was quite a good day. Ooh, outstanding. I've won some tens. Before. Yeah, Harding, a strange player. Doesn't look like he's happy at any game. That's good. ATSL, how you doing? The NBA is rigged, absolutely. So that could be the scenario to let the Sixers win. Could be 4-5-4. Moses Malone 4-5-4. How's it going to end, Moses? 4-5-4. My favorite number, the number's 4-5-4. Well, guys, I wasn't going to go on terribly long tonight. Oh, this is a story changing up a little bit on y'all. Now, a lot of y'all saw this on the internet. It was all over Twitter, I think. It was all over social media. So I'll read a little bit of it. A Shakopee man accused in the grisly death of his girlfriend appeared in Scott County District Court on Wednesday. Was ruled competent to stand trial. Alexis Sarbortit, 42, of course 42, looked like he was melanated, is charged with first and second degree murder in the July 24th of his longtime girlfriend, America Tyler. Authorities allege that Sabarini beheaded Tyler and threw her body out of the vehicle in front of onlookers at an intersection. Do y'all remember that? That is within miles of where I live in Shakopee. He cut off her head and threw her ass out the goddamn car. Threw her head out too. But do y'all remember that? Did y'all see that? And so now he's competent to stand trial. He has been in custody since last July. He allegedly told investigators that he killed her after she told him she wanted to end their relationship. Several people testified to the grand jury, which handed down the first-degree murder charge. They had witnessed the incident, and cell phone video footage of the murder was recorded from a nearby residence, according to court documents. He had been in trouble with the law before the alleged murder of Thaler. He was convicted of assaulting Thaler in Chaska Bar in 17. This shit happened in 21, and she still didn't leave his ass. He assaulted her in 17, and she stayed with him. And then when she tried to break free of the motherfucker, he beheaded her and threw her body out the car. So, I don't know if y'all remember hearing about that. But that was down here. Strange player. Ooh. I see earbuds. Yeah. Bucks was scripted. Oh, definitely the Bucks was scripted. Required. Injury. Yep. Okay. The script is too obvious now. A lot of players are seeing this rigged. Yeah, a lot of people. Yeah, no doubt. No doubt people picking it up. No doubt people are picking it up. That is scripted. And so I think I'll be on tomorrow night. I think I'll come on at midnight, but I've really been up since yesterday when I did the show. So yeah, hour and a half. That's good enough for tonight. NFL screenwriters become a meme now. Well, I call it the egghead man in the room. The egghead man in the room is the architect, like in the Matrix. He's got all the games, all the inline betting, and a lot of decisions is made by that. Now again, when they rig games, it's different. That's why I was saying like Ivy. I showed where Ivy purposely dribbled the ball out of bounds, purposely did the turnovers. He's going to be rewarded in the NBA for doing that. Chet Holmgren, by doing them on purpose foul, is going to be rewarded because Chet Holmgren and that dude from Duke, he's going to go 1 and 2. The Duke freshman Chet Holmgren going to go 1 and 2, but they're already the Chet Holmgren is showing the NBA that he can follow the script. He can follow the script and he'll be rewarded. You know what they say? Talk to the hammer and you will be rewarded. And so let me give the divination for Sunday. I'll give that now, even though it ain't midnight some places going on it. So it is Akbal. Common Mayan usage is night or house. Qualities: conscious dreamer, abyss, mystery, sanctuary, serenity, looks within place, enclosing darkness. Journey into self, stillness, dream time, dream field, matrix, dream exploration. Symbol: womb, abyss, dark cave, or the bat. Number 3, as in rhythm. Black is the color. Mugwort is the herb. Flower is black orchid. Flower essence is white orchid. Scent is holly berry. Holly berry, holly berry. Stones: hematite or obsidian or smoky quartz. Elements: water element. Direction is coming from the west. The shadow wisdom is viewpoint to eternal, subjective, sadness, depression, self-judgment, fear of change. But the transformation would be willing to examine how you judge and evaluate yourself, embrace and follow your inner shadow processes to learn from their gifts. The harmonic wisdom is integration. Mantra. Let's see if I can do the mantra. With the eyes closed, hands together at the waist, palms up, bowing, then rising, bowing, then rising, crossing chest on the forearm. So, okay. I'm going to go through this shit one day with the mantra. Because that's all, when you see Doctor Strange, that's all they doing. When he's supposed to be, you see the circles and shit they're making, but they're mantras. So the meditation is, I am the darkness, that is the light, and the stillness, that is the dancing. T.S. Eliot. Affirmation: I pilgrimage deep within to the sanctuary of self to garner the gifts awaiting me there. And as you all know, I will give the love of Mora to everyone. I do give this little bit out of the Time Walkers information. Mora, it all starts with a gentle sadness. They came from their original homeland. They knew that they had exact numbers of years and days before they would disappear off the earth as a culture and a lifestyle. Civilization builders. See, civilization builders, they go and then they would show the inhabitants how the civilization builds. The civilization would build to a gentle love. They lived in the Creator's day and knew how to separate cycles in the great serpent, which is the Milky Way. And to all people watching now, people watching in the future, to all my relatives, to all my friends, to all my acquaintances, I am your reflection. I am another yourself. So treat me as you would treat yourself. And as you rest tonight in your creation, infinite, sacred ball field, rest well. And remember, love just is. It just is. So this is the Chocolate Mountain Show, and I am your super funky hero. 8 Win, Big Pontiac, Time Lord on the motherfucker. I take all that energy. Oh, Jody. Oh, I want to interview Jody. Let me know when I can interview you. A lot of people like your stuff, and I would definitely like to interview you. Because I'm silly. Whoops. Oh, there we go. So thank you, Jody. But I'm about to go off because I've been up for like 20 some hours without any sleep, and I need to sleep. As Michael Jackson, like, motherfucker, I can't sleep. Give me some shit. Creators and builders, that's it. Doing. I'm a heckalate. Awesome. Okay, so just get with me. Give me a time. I know the 8 Waking one. She called me. She wanted to come in tonight, and I was like, honey, this ain't a good night to do it because, this is gonna be kind of a sports night, a lot of sports night because the game just got over. She's like, oh yeah. So she'll be coming in eventually too. So yeah, let me know, Jody, and this crowd that doesn't know how brilliant you are, and no, I'll say that when I get you on. But you know what I ask you all the time? She always turns me down. She's like, like she'll give me the German. I'll be like asking Jody to marry me, and she does like the Germans would do. The Germans would just like slap you in the face with a pair of leather gloves, and she'll like reach through the phone and slap me in the face with a pair of leather gloves. I'm like, damn, not again. Like I be looking around, like where did she get the leather gloves from? It's like out of nowhere, just the gloves. I be like, I love you to death, and you should marry me. And then all of nowhere, just a pair of a pair of leather gloves come out of nowhere and just start slapping me in my face. Like, get to your senses. I'm like, okay, please take them off. Please take them off. And it's like I'm looking around, like where did they go? And I'm like ducking and shit and trying to do this, and then they still get me. So, I just have fun. So, y'all, this has been the Chocolate Mountain Show. Till we meet again, say less.